Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about the custom connector. This diagram is from the Microsoft documentation which shows the architectural design of the custom connector. This is a sample API. We can have any APIs here which supports the HTTP request, and that can be consumed by a custom connector. So you can ask a question like, in a flow or in a logic app, I can able to consume an API by creating an HTTP request and do the authentication headers there and pass it through to the API without using the custom connector. But in some cases, we want to reuse that connector. For example, you have an API and you want to create a custom connector, and you will share this custom connector to your developers. So this will minimize the load for the developers to recreate all the HTTP requests for this particular API. So that is the main reason why we need a custom connector. And there is another reason why we need to go for a custom connector. For example, you have a Office 365 Outlook or users standard connector. In some cases, the standard connector will support to a limited extent. For example, if I have a standard connector called Office 365 Outlook, this will get the inbox emails as I showed here. So we have almost hundreds of emails in this screen, and I am going to try using the standard connector to consume all the emails. So let me quickly add a gallery, and on the items I will try to consume the emails from the gallery. Let me add a label here to show the subject of this particular email. You can see that I can able to see almost 10 emails, but let me try to see is there any options available for me to change the number of emails that I want to refresh. You can see that there is a parameter called top. So I go to the parameter top and I try to fetch 100 in this. You can see that there is an error pops up. Let me show you the error. It shows that the specified positive number is less than, it should be less than 25. It means this standard connector will support the top 25 emails, which means that we can add multiple search query or the filtration for this particular emails, or we can skip 25 to do the paginations, and we can achieve in such a way that we can only consume the top 25. So that is the limitations in the standard connector. But if your client is asking for 100 emails in one shot, the one way is to create this type of connections for 4 times to consume top 100 by fetching the first 25 and skipping the first 25 in the next call and skipping the 50 in the next call and make it 100, and you group all the collections in one single data source and try to populate in a single gallery. That looks a difficult one, and it also have a performance issue. So rather using that approach, we can create a custom connector for a Graph API. Okay, now how to do that? Let's create a custom connector for the Graph API Outlook. In this video, we will create a custom connector to consume the email of a user. So this is the Graph API documentation page, and the left hand side you can see there is a section for each API, and for example we need to consume an email, so I go to the email and I click on the list messages. Here you can see to use this particular API I need at least a delegate permission for these privileges. So we need to create that, but before that we'll just try to use the API in the Graph Explorer. I scroll down, I can see if I use a GET protocol to a /me.messages on the Graph API, this will provide me the list of emails for a user. So let me show you an example. So I just copy that particular URL to consume it, and I go to the Graph Explorer here. So this is the Explorer where the Microsoft will allow you to interact like a postman to consume the email and other stuff. So I click on sign in to sign in with my account, and I am allowing the Graph API to consent. So now my Graph Explorer is ready to interact with the Graph API. So I paste it here to retrieve the subject and the center information from my email. I click on run query. This will show that I need to get a consent on some of the privileges. So those are the consents that we have seen here, like the mail read basics and mail read. So I can go here, there is a tab here to get that. So modify permissions, I click on the read permission for that and the read basic permission. I don't need a read write because I'm not going to write any emails to the user, so I don't want that. So if I run this query, this will fetch me a list of emails, and again this will fetch only the top 10. So I want to retrieve top 20. So I go here to the query, I add another list called top equal to 100, and this will fetch me the top 100 email. So if you can see that, I can see a lot of emails which retrieves the center and the subject information. Now this is what we are looking for, and if I copy that, I need to create a custom connector for this particular Graph API. To do that, first we need to create a app registration in the Azure portal. That is required to consent from your admin point of view. So we need to add consent for read basic and read write. Once it is done, we can consume this from the custom connector. So let me quickly go here to the portal.azure.com, and I can go to the Azure Active Directory to create an app registration. So on the left hand side you can see the app registration here. I will register an application, click new registration here. I can say Graph API app registration. Let that be on the organizational level, and I don't need anything here. I click on register now. This will create a app registration information. So I need to save the secret key. So I go here to the certified and the secrets, the certificates and secrets, to generate a new secret key. You can see here key, it's valid for 6 months. I click on it to generate it. Remember, we need to copy the value because once it is logged, the value will be not available for us to copy. So once it is done, I go to the overview and I copy the app ID. So this is the app ID and this is the key. Once it is done, I go to the API permissions, and we need to have read basics read, and these are the least two most privileged, so I need these two. So I go to the app registration, click on add a permission, and I need a Graph Microsoft API, and I need a delegate permission, and I type mail here. You can see there is a section called mail, and we need mail read and mail read basics, and it does not record any consent, so I can just add it. So you can grant this so that it won't ask the user again for any consent. So I can grant admin consent for this, which is done. So now we got the list of items to configure our custom connector.